Sup guys, this is Tyler. I'm just going to walk you through what I have to do to make levels for Closure. So let's pick a name for this level. Sup guys level. So we got a completely blank canvas right here. I've made about 200 to 300 levels so far, many of which, or most of which, aren't actually going to end up in the final game. So it sort of drains a lot of your ideas, but I'm going to do my best to walk through sort of my thought process in making it. So I guess the first thing that I do is there's all my mechanics right here, is I sort of pick something that I want to be the core puzzle of a level. Sorry. So let's say it's these things right here. So those things right here is quick demonstration for those who haven't played the game. These little things right here are this door. You can't go into it until all of the little bulbs are lit up. So you can't go through the door. If all the bulbs are lit up, you can. See? Easy peasy. So that's not much of a puzzle. So let's make it a little more interesting here. I know. Let's make them underwater. So yeah, I usually just start off with making some interesting landforms. Maybe something interesting will come out of it when I go to actually put stuff in the level, but it helps. Place one there. All right. Yeah, you can see Fraps is making this run quite slowly. And these. That's interesting. These little glowy things that you see not scrolling with the screen. That is not right. That's a book. Well, yeah, you can see that you can't really get to the door right now once you've fallen into the water, so yeah, you gotta fix that a little bit. Wait, were you able to make that jump? It is possible to make that jump and that jump. That might be too long of a jump. So, yeah, lower it a little bit. Replace that. That's probably a little better of a jump. Okay, so since he can make that, okay, Fraps is really killing my frame rate right now. But since it's possible to make that, we can add a little ledge here. Usually 3 blocks is enough of a ledge for a jumping out of water point. I don't know if you can make that jump very easily. So, oh, we can see. Still kind of a small ledge though, so we can make it a little larger. That shouldn't cause too many issues. Still swing down there. Still have a nice little ledge. Jump from here too if you want. That's a bit long of a jump though. So, yeah. So yeah, these, if you look at the bottom left, where the bottom left-hand side of the screen, there's a little glowy thing right there. Those are supposed to overlap these flowers, but for some reason they don't when the screen scrolls. And I'm not sure how I never noticed that. Maybe I never made a level that had these flowery things, but also had the screen scrolling. So, I can fix that, but I'm not going to do that right now, since it's not important for this video. Okay, so this is a interesting little level right here. Let's make it actually solvable. So right now I'm thinking this little air pocket I have right here doesn't serve that much of a purpose in this level right now, since it may as well just be filled with water and do the same thing. So I have an idea. Let's make it a little larger of a pocket. Just a little bit larger of a pocket, and let's stick a platform in it, like a floating log or something. Yeah. There we go. And then we have a little area where I can place a spotlight. So now we have a interesting little underwater cove right here. The idea is that there'd be no easy way to light up this flower without a spotlight, because if you let go of the orb underwater, it floats to the top and you fall and die. So, kind of need to shine light on it from somewhere else. So let's see. I can have a spotlight go there. I can even drop an orb there to light up that one. Oops. Wonder if I could hit both of these with the one spotlight. Does not look like it. So we got that. Can this one be lit up? Okay, that one can be lit up with an orb there. I wonder if it can without the spotlight pointing at it. It can. Okay, so I need 2 orbs down here. One orb here. That's an interesting bug also. Yeah. That's also an interesting... Why am I finding so many bugs when I decide to record a video of this? I found 3 already. So you need 2 orbs in here, and I didn't place a need down there. 2 orbs, you need an orb there, and an orb there. So you need 4 orbs total. But just placing 4 orbs doesn't make for much of a puzzle. I could easily do an orb there just to show you where the door is, since some people might not find that out on their own very easily. So that shows you where the door is. Place an orb there to show you that there's a platform there. I could place an orb. Not many other places to place an orb, but we'll go with this right now. And we'll place an orb there. Just whatever. Now the level should be beatable. Oh, that's interesting. Then there's no light to get to the door if you use all 4 of these to light up the things. Oh wait, there's another orb over here. That's also interesting. You need 2 orbs down here, but since there's no water connecting them, they all float to the surface. It's tough to be able to swim down here without the like I can't go. I can get 1 orb down here, but then I can't get back without the orb. Maybe the spotlight helps a little there. And then I can swim here, but that doesn't do much. Or I could swim down here. That also doesn't do much. Oh, now I can't get back. Cool. So that's an idea. That's what I thought was going to be too simple of a puzzle ends up still being not solvable right now. So here's the other idea is now I can use a second spotlight, one that can shine, you know, more of at an angle like this so that you can use the spotlight beam water that it creates to swim down here, drop the orb, swim up, grab another orb, swim down here, drop it, and then swim up and then beat the level. But I don't have a decent spot to put a spotlight since they don't really work very well if they're underwater. You can actually grab them, but that's more of a bug than anything else. Well, I could put a spotlight here though. Here or here. That platform is a bit too small for a spotlight. But there we go, that right. That should be good. So I can put a spotlight here. We get a straight beam spotlight and have it shining. That's the direction it's supposed to be shining. Hold on one sec. So that's the direction it should be shining to act as sort of a passageway down here. Now you can grab an orb, you can bring it up here, and you can jump into the beam of spotlight and get back up. So you can get an orb down, you can go up, grab another orb, bring it down, go up, and then beat the level. So that's actually, in my opinion, that's not that hard, but I know people will struggle a bit with that solution. Oops. I know people will struggle a bit trying to find that solution. So it's pretty good. Well, I'll start it there just so that the solution's not obvious. Let me just make sure that nothing peeks over the edge, and there we go. Oh, and you can probably shine the spotlight over there so you can get back to the door, drop your last orb off there. So you can still do it in 4 orbs. So let's see if this is a solution. So let's see, the first step was to shine the spotlight basically through the gap. Oh, that's a problem. Notice since you can't see that far down below the screen, when you're shining the spotlight, you can't see if it's aimed properly down here. But from this perspective, you can. So we're going to need to lower the camera a bit. Okay. So now we see I wonder if that works right. No, that does not work right. This camera control stuff is really, really weird, and I coded it a while ago, and I don't really remember what it does. Just if I press enough buttons, it aligns the camera the way I want it to. So there, now you can at least see that you're aligning it right. You do have to swim quite far down to scroll the camera off the screen, but I don't think that's too much of an issue, since at least here you can see almost everything. I wonder if jumping can make it go up. I can always fix the camera stuff later. kind of annoys me. Let's move it up one tick. Oh, now it's running 60 frames per second. So now you can see when it's shining, oops, didn't grab it, right. Typically there'd be a piece of art or something aligned with this diagonal beam of light just to help you align it properly, but there isn't right now since the art isn't put into the level until after it's designed. So we have, that's also a problem now. If I move the camera up, you can't see this ledge you're standing on anymore. Stupid camera. Oh, and if it's here, you know, I just need another camera. There, so now when you're down here, you can focus on aligning this spotlight. I forgot to aim the spotlight. So here you go, aim the spotlight. I should get an orb over here just so I have something to get on my second try up. Yeah, we'll grab that one. See, and we can swim back up. Let me go grab the orb that's on the door over here. We'll drop the second one here. Might not even be necessary to put two of them here, but you can always change that later. So now we need to be able to get to the door. I guess you don't even need this last orb. Especially since, yeah, you can do this. Don't even need the last orb really. Could use it for something else. Having the extra always helps. Like if you miss a jump right there, like I just did. So, and now you can get to the door, and you can go into it, and there is your level. Okay, now we have our level. So now we got to tweak it a little bit. Or at least test it a few times just to make sure that there's nothing obviously wrong about it. So the first thing I want to try is, do you need to angle the spotlight at this door to beat the level? Especially, oh no, the only reason why we had an extra orb was because the spotlight was lighting up this thing right here. So you don't need to go through all the steps of the puzzle to test this stuff. You only need to test the last stage of it. So let's assume we only have one orb and we just throw the rest of them away. Right here. So, okay, yeah, you do need to angle the spotlight over here. You don't need the other orb if you do, since if the spotlight is angled properly, you can light up the door and that, and the flower. Whereas the original idea was that you light up the door and then you drop a flower, and you don't put it. But I'm happy leaving that thing in there. It doesn't, getting rid of that would make the level far more complicated because I'd have to like adjust the height of this thing right here or move this flower somewhere else. And it wouldn't really change the puzzle, it'd just make the level more frustrating. So I'd say that's okay there. Let's reset. The second thing I notice now is that you can do this. And it's obviously doesn't really lead anywhere in the puzzle because you can't do anything when you do that. You can take an orb down, but you can't get through this wall when it's lit up. You can take an orb down, but yeah, so that there's no use doing that. But I know that a bunch of people are going to try that on their first try in the level before they notice that there's a spotlight right here. Because people are going to be like, oh, well, this is interesting. So I'm not sure what I'm supposed to think about that. But it'd be nice. I suppose this is where I need to actually like test this level with other people who haven't played this game and made levels for it for like 3 years in a row now. But yeah, I'm actually pretty happy right now with this level. It seems like the core parts of the puzzle, which are, it's pretty much just you need to aim this spotlight down there so you can do this. Like that is the only part of this puzzle that I can consider core. Everything else is, by the time you'd get to this puzzle in the game, everything else has already been introduced and is just sort of an element. So this right here is core. I do know one thing that bothers me about this level at the moment is the fact that you need to do this twice. So is there any reason to have both of these here? Other than forcing you to do this twice? I'd probably say no, and I'd say this one that's on this one right here probably just adds some confusion because it kind of looks like you should be able to hit both of these with the spotlight. And you have to drop the orb like floating in the water here for that to really light it up, which just feels weird. Especially since there's already a spotlight beam right there. So we can probably delete that and the level will be the same. And then we don't need this orb at the door. We can delete one orb. We don't need two on the starting platform. I do want one orb on the door from the start, even though it requires you to, jump and bring it back and shuffle them around and whatnot, or drop it off the edge and float it back. Even though there's one, it requires that extra little bit of tediousness. From testing, people really get confused if they don't see the door right from the start. So, in all the levels that I can do that, I do that. So now we only need to do that once. It's a little nicer. Yeah, I'll take this one. A little nicer there. And of course I mess up and don't give myself an extra orb here. That probably adds to the puzzle a little bit. So now we can do that. We can do that. And we can go through the door. And there we go. So the level isn't done yet, but I normally have to basically not look at it for a day or two or watch somebody else play it, and at that point I can tweak it as necessary, and then once the level's done and final, I can give it to John and he can draw pretty art over it. And that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you enjoy the game when it comes out.